So, if you're anything like me, you probably don't play a lot of sports games. But not for the same reasons that I don't. See, I think sports games are getting too realistic nowadays. What I mean by this is that they're focusing too much on being realistic rather than being fun. And that's a very, very bad problem. And it's a problem that not a lot of games like FIFA or Madden seem to acknowledge. Thankfully for me, there is a game I can play which is one of my favorite sports games of all time because it manages to be fun without being realistic. But that's not a problem because, as I've said, it's fun and that's what matters. This is NBA Jam Tournament Edition for the Sega Mega Drive. First, a little backstory on the game. The game was developed by Midway, who you probably will know for the Mortal Kombat series. But Midway had another arcade, and this was the second most popular. It started out as an arcade in 1993, but the popularity of this game was insane. No one had ever seen anything like it since Mortal Kombat. So it was ported to the SNES, the Game Gear, the N64, the Atari Jaguar, and just about any other home system you could imagine, including the Mega Drive. So let's power this bastard on and see if it's any good. There we go, and let's play. So immediately you're asked if you want to keep your initials for record keeping. And the purpose of this is so that you can save the game and then take off exactly where you left off in your goal to defeat all 28 teams in the NBA. This seems like a fairly simple premise, and the rules are fairly simple too. You know, it's basketball. You score inside the circle, 2 points. You score outside the circle, 3 points. You know, there are some other small rules I won't get into because I want to get onto a really pressing issue, and that's the AI. The AI makes this game nigh on impossible. Okay? If you fuck up against the AI, they are not going to let you get away with it. They are going to punish you for every opportunity that they get. You have to use all your opportunities so well, otherwise you're gonna lose by like 10 or 15 points. Like, what about that? How do they score? Okay, let's try it for me. Okay, it works, I guess. Alright, that's fair. No, I'm done. Not really, I still have another 4 minutes to get through. But here we have the substitute screen. And the purpose of this is essentially you can choose what players you want to play. The injury on the bottom is how injured a player is. 0 is maximum fitness. And with maximum fitness, a player will perform to the best of their ability. Makes sense, right? Now here we have how a player gets on fire. And yes, that is where the term comes from. So think about that the next time you think of Will Gray. The ball essentially becomes on fire, which doesn't make any sense. Shouldn't the ball be on fire? Shouldn't the commentator say the ball is now on fire? I mean, like, what powers does this man have that he can set a ball on fire and not only do that, but hold it in his bare hands like it's no feet? And how does the net survive? Anyway, I'm thinking too deep into it. Back to the game. The AI will use this passing mechanic here to pass in tight spaces to confuse you and often frustrate you, but it can be stopped, like here. If you know exactly where to stand, you can turn this to your advantage and score against them. And that's what makes NBA Jam fair. That's the equalizer to the tough AI, is that the game is tough on the AI too. They will make mistakes, and you can punish them just as they'll punish you for your mistakes. This makes the games very competitive and very exciting. And despite being only 3 minutes a quarter, making for a total of 12-minute games, they often feel very fast-paced. But they go on for long enough that you're interested in playing the games, and that the scores are high enough to make it seem like it was very competitive. This can be frustrating at times when the AI gets a score that you feel is unfair, but you will often get amazing scores yourself that feel very satisfying. The dunks are very comical, as is the commentary. You'll often get bizarre scores, and the dunks are, as I said, pretty bizarre. The commentary is pretty ecstatic, and overall it just adds this comic relief to the game. And it really benefits it, because can you imagine EA making FIFA where like a player slide tackled across the pitch? That would never happen. EA are way too buttoned down and tight. So the AI makes mistakes too, and that's a really good thing, because without it NBA Jam would simply be one of those games that's too hard to beat. In conclusion, despite anything bad I've said about NBA Jam, it's still one of my favorite sports games of all time, and I wouldn't hesitate to call it one of my favorite games of all time, period. The fantastic gameplay, smooth controls, funny commentary, and excellent graphics make for one hell of a game.